Hi everyone, welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. Today I'm joined by Terry, as always, and we've also got James from the Babbling Blues talking to us today. We're going to be previewing Everton's match away at Old Trafford against Manchester United. Terry, come to you first, mate. What sort of team do you want to see? Because the performance against Leeds away was a pretty good one. More of the same, or do you think there should be a couple of changes?
I think there will be changes. I think Carlo isn't sort of married to one set 11. He hasn't been for the whole time he's been here. I think he changes things as each opponent comes round to suit them. God knows who it will be because they scored 9 goals last game. So as long as the team's better than that Southampton team that were left on the pitch, that'll be better than United played last time out. But honestly, I could probably see Keane coming back in, Godfrey going to left back, Luca Dean going to left midfield. Might even see James Rodriguez back in this game, add that little bit of extra creativity, but I don't expect to see the same team. I think that suited the Leeds game. I think they might change it up a little bit for the Man United game. How you approach a game against a team who are that good in the previous game, I don't know. But that's why Carlo Ancelotti's who he is. I'm sure he does know.
James, same question to you, mate. What sort of side do you think Everton will link up with, and what sort of side do you want Everton to start with?
I'm really not sure. I was having to think about it before, but we have a joke over on ours where we say that he pulls the names out of a tombola pre-match because I don't think I've predicted one starting 11 all season. He seems to have an idea in his head early doors of what he wants and the plays he's going to put in there. I would not have said Andre Gomez or Sigurdsson would have played last night, and they both did, and they both had really good games. So, yeah, I'm not too sure. I would be happy enough to see us go back to 4 centre-backs because I think Michael Keane's been unbelievable for us this season. I'd be happy enough with that. And of course, I'm happy when James Rodriguez comes into any team. But as Terry was saying, if a team wins a 9-0, it's only the third time it's happened in the Premier League. So I think you go to you're their next opponent. You really don't that's not what you want at all. So I'm not too sure. I think Alan's meant to be back fit. I definitely wouldn't throw him in straight away, but it'd be nice if he's sort of in and around the squad and come back into full fitness. So if it's the same team, if it goes to the 4 centre backs, as long as it's not that back 5 we had, I'm pretty content with whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, I think I was speaking to Jay from Stretford Paddock, previewing this game with him, getting a more Man United centre preview, and the team he named so attacking. Greenwood, Cavani, Rashford. He expects all 3 of those to start. So I think Ben Godfrey's a crucial one to bring in because we're going to need to be able to defend for large parts of the game. It could be another sit back, wait for opportunities, hit them on the break, and try and get something. And obviously teams have gone there this season and got something. Sheffield United, we saw the other week, won there. So there's no reason why we can't. I'd like to see James Rodriguez come in as well, especially after him being rested last night. But obviously we can't talk about it without talking about the 9-0. James, did you watch the 9-0 United game?
I actually didn't know because we were talking about I can't remember what I was doing. I was doing something, and then when I came down, it was already 1-0, and obviously they had the man sent off. So I think we watched Milan Inter. Sorry, I think that was the same night. We watched that, and then we sort of channel surfed a little bit, me and my dad, and we watched a little bit of the United game. But I can't believe, coming off the back of that, how little criticism I've seen of Southampton. I know they went down to 10 men early doors, but to lose a game 9-0 for the second time in a year and a bit, I just think that's absolutely mental. And I think they definitely should have shut up shop in the end. I know they had the second red card, but I haven't watched the highlights. Man United looked on it, and I've seen a lot of United fans who I follow on Twitter, etc., sort of very pleased about how they played. So it's a bit of a worry. But as you say, I think they've lost 5 games at home this season in all competitions, and we're talking Sheffield United and Crystal Palace. We're not exactly talking the biggest and the best teams in the league. And but I think if I sort of sat here and said, if this team can go and beat this team, why can't we? Look how many teams have gone to Anfield since we last won, or even City, Chelsea, Arsenal. I've seen loads of teams run at the Emirates over the last few years, and we just haven't been able to manage it. So, I don't try and look into that too much. And I just think we need to go play our own game and, prove we're good enough to beat the likes of them, because that's how you get into the upper echelons of the table.
We'll all be hoping that we can get something at Old Trafford. I think this is one of our best opportunities to do it with how well we've been playing away. We spoke about it in the Leeds game. The away form is absolutely outstanding this season. And Terry, is there a little bit of nerves after United's recent results and the performance against Newcastle with us, or are you confident going into it?
No, you can't be confident going to Old Trafford any time. Even when they were at their lower ebbs in the last few years, we still didn't, go there and routinely win or whatever. Yeah. So now that they've got their act together a little bit and they've got a quality team, you can't say, well, I'm confident we're going to win. Our away form is really good, but Man United are still loaded with quality, and coming off the joint records, win in the Premier League ever. And I'm not like nervous going into the game in the sense of, we're going to get battered or we need to win this game or it's all over. There's a game every 3 days. We'll bounce back if we don't get the result. But I just can't go into this game thinking, we're going to win this, because they're one of the top 3 teams in the country. And I think the table will bear that out at the end of the season. It'll be some variation, I think, of City, Liverpool and Man United. And if we get a result there, if we were to win at Old Trafford this weekend, it'd be our best result of the whole season.
Yeah, for me, I still can't get over how great that Tottenham game was, first game of the season, watching us go away to a Big Six team and beat them. If we can go away and do the same to Man United, I'd be on a high for a few weeks. It would certainly, it'd probably take me until a derby just about to calm down, just because the nerves of that I'd probably shoot me back down. But you can't, their team seems to be, going back to the conversation I had with Jay from Stretford Paddock, they seem to have so many players fit. Luke Shaw's having a good season. Pogba's coming to a bit of form. Matic is obviously a good player to screen the back four. How tough will this be with that Man United team, James? Because they seem to have a little extra kick in their step this season for some reason. I don't know whether it's confidence or if Ollie's scared something into them, but they seem to have a little bit of extra swagger about them, don't they?
Yeah, I think this is the best Man United team I've seen since, obviously, the Sir Alex Ferguson days, sort of 8-9 years ago. I think this is the best sort of iteration of them. And as Terry said, there's no at any point will there be a time when I'm confident going to Old Trafford, just because I watched them swat aside Everton for year on year on year under Moyes, and obviously other than the Martinez, when under Martinez, Koeman, they battered us 4-0 in the second game there. So, yeah, absolutely no confidence in terms of us going there and looking for a win. But I do think they do look quite good this season. But we've seen they're prone to a bit of a lapse. And I think Ollie seems to get the brunt of that when that happens. But, yeah, as you're saying, Pogba's playing well ever since that news came out about him wanting to leave. He's seemed to really kick it up to the player that he looked like he could have been when he went to United. Bruno's obviously been terrific. I think Cavani was quite a shrewd addition. So, yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how we get on there. But, yeah, certainly a very tough game for us.
Teddy, do you think if we can sneak if by chance we can sneak a win on Saturday, where does that leave us with regards to, going into sort of, obviously we're not there yet, but going into like the run-in for the season when it gets to sort of March, April time, because we're getting closer and closer every game. It's easy to forget. We've played over half the season now. If we were to get 3 points there, going with our games in hand that we've got, I think we've still got at least one game in hand on a couple of the other teams around us. How important is that? Because there's so many, like I seen a stat yesterday. If we'd have lost against Leeds, we could have ended up 10th or something like that. So how important is it to get these 3 points and get closer to a team like United?
It's as important as any other game. Like, it's the defeat against Newcastle wasn't the end of the world, and a win against Man United wouldn't be the be all and end all. It's a mad season. You know, the table and, you know, everything else can change over a weekend, or, you know, a full week with like 3 games in it. So I wouldn't get too excited and say that's it, we're getting in the Champions League if we beat Man United. But if we lose to them, I also wouldn't think that's it, we can't get into Europe. It's all about getting that consistent run of games. One game is not the deciding factor for any point this season until it's the last game of the season, because it's so tight that it can change so quick, and it can change so quickly. There's no point even stressing about the impact it has, because it just changes 3 days later.
Yeah, such a topsy-turvy season. And I just think the mentality thing with going to the top 6 teams, it's just a massive game in that sense. United have beaten us twice at home this season already, and I still think we owe them one for the cup defeat to them, because I'm still absolutely gutted from that. And, you know, we put a bit more confidence into it. I feel like the signing of Josh King has gotten on a few more fans on side, in the way that we've now got someone to throw on if we need it. James, you hoping to see Josh King? Because last night he made what was a 100% cameo appearance. If there was ever a cameo appearance, that was it. You're hoping to see a bit more of him, because hopefully he's getting to full fitness now.
Yeah, he looked goose, didn't he, after about 5 minutes? Not an easy game to come into as a forward player, I don't think, because obviously we were backs to the wall just trying to grind out a result. But yeah, I mean, in a way, I don't know, I can almost say I maybe would rather us not have to bring him on, because I think if we're bringing him on, we're probably chasing a game. So I think if we don't see him this weekend, that's fine. We've got a cup game, and then I think it's Fulham after that. So he's got a couple of opportunities coming up. But yeah, I mean, in terms of my opinions on him coming in, I wasn't too keen at first because of the money rumoured to be in the deal. But I just think the way we've gone about it, and in terms of he's coming in for 6 months, and he's not got, well, from what I've read anyway, he's not on like huge wage breaking wages. So yeah, I think he'll be a good signing for us over the next 6 months if he can score a few goals and just get us up the table with a few extra points. I'm not entirely convinced he'll play on the weekend. As I said, I'd rather him stay on the bench if he is, because I think that would mean we're going for we're trying to come from a goal down or whatever. So yeah, maybe not necessarily this weekend, but over the next couple of weeks, definitely.
Yeah, and obviously we can't talk about Man United without talking about some of our bogey players. Speaking to Jay about what sort of team he thinks he'll play, he doesn't expect Anthony Martial to play, but I certainly expect him to play and score against us, because he seems to in every single game we play against them. Bruno Fernandes there as well, has played against us every time we've played them. He's a really top-notch player. Terry, players we need to look out for. I know there's some obvious ones, and the people watching at home probably know as well which ones we need to look out for, but just in your mind, who's United's danger players against Everton?
Well, the obvious one's Bruno Fernandes, but I would rather see Anthony Martial than Edison Cavani, because Edison Cavani has already scored against us this season, and he's such a clever player. I think he's got the beating of some of our centre backs with his clever movements and his positioning. Martial, I think we'd have an easier time defending against. So Cavani's the main danger for me, outside of the obvious being Bruno Fernandes, but that is obvious.
Yeah. And the final question that I want to ask, I usually save this one for Owen when it's me, Owen, and Terry, because he seems to have the answer to every single team in the Premier League. But I'll give it to James today. Obviously, we're going to play our game no matter what. Tactically, where are the opportunities going to come for us? Because I expect us to play well in the first half, maybe tail off a bit in the second and try and defend what we've got. Tactically, how do you think we are going to have to go about getting 3 points from United?
I think it's difficult because I can't see loads of holes in this Man United team. I'm a big fan of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I think he's great one-on-one, but I think, again, reading some United fans, maybe he's not having his best season, so there might be some opportunity there to get in and around him potentially. But I can't say I see loads of holes in this United setup, and I just think maybe winning set pieces, we've been really good off corners this season. As an example, I think that could be really important to how we're going to play. And then just soaking up pressure. Man United will want to keep coming on to us and looking to hit them on the break. I think it's probably going to be sort of the order of the day, if you like, because there's always pressure on Man United to win games at home. And when they've already lost a few, I think that could be the one to sort of frustrate them. And then with Richarlison and with Dom and with like someone like Abdoulaye Doucouré from the midfield just breaking on them, and especially the way with like Luke Shaw's been playing, so he's been getting further forward, and I think he's been really good. But I also think Maguire, I think they are prone to having the odd mishap and a bit of a breakdown in communication. I seem to remember the first goal Liverpool scored in the Cup was just really, really simple, just a slight ball inside in between them, and I think it was Salah who was in and went on to score. So I think in terms of just the odd mishap or getting in behind them when we're looking to counter is probably going to be the order of the day, but I think it will be a tough game for us.
Yeah, and I think I'd agree with you there. I think set pieces are going to be important. It's important that we try and get as many goals as we can in the first half. If we can get 1 or 2 goals in the first half, it's going to be really important. But yeah, I think we've covered all the bases there, guys. Leave your score predictions in the comments as well. We'll read through them and I'll try and reply to as many as I can. If you have enjoyed it, make sure you click the thumbs up button underneath the video and subscribe to the Toffee Blues if you haven't already. Check down in the description as well. You'll find the Babbling Blues podcast where you can see James more regularly. And also keep an eye out for the Toffee Blues podcast, which we'll be recording soon. A bit more of James on there. And we'll also be going back to an Everton Man United game in history, and I'll be quizzing Terry and James on the squad that played on that day. But yeah, as I said, like the video if you haven't already. Leave your score predictions down below. And thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.